Yo, what's good? It's your guy Brahma, BrahmaBeats.com, and I'm here to deliver to you the 7 elements of beat making right here in this video. Okay, so before I do that though, this is going to be a lot of wisdom I'm giving you, and I believe as a music producer, this is going to help you take your sound to the next level. Not only your sound, but your mind and your brand as well, because they're all intertwined. Okay, so I need you to help me though, because I want to help you and a million other producers. I want to help a million producers. So you can help me get this message further by subscribing, first of all, so you can keep getting these messages, because I'm going to keep giving them. But you know, that's what I'm here to do as your music mentor. Okay, so and also share it, because you may have producer friends in your network that could use the information as well. Plus it helps me get the message further to, you know, to accomplish my mission, to further accomplish my mission, I should say, to help 1 million music producers. So thank you in advance for that. Okay, so here is the 7 elements of beat making. Let me first give you some background on it, how it came about, and then bam, I'm gonna hit you with the 7 elements that you can apply and start making bangers right now. Okay, so anyway, what happened was I sat and thought, like, you know, like how coaches of basketball teams and football teams, they all got playbooks for the players to go and run plays to win the game, right? So what if a music producer like you and I, what if we had the ultimate play, right? The formula, or the ultimate formula, just like, you know, in science, scientists have certain formulas, chemists have formulas to make certain things happen. Producers, what if we had the ultimate music making formula, the music production formula to make a banger every time, no matter what, right? And so it came to me, I realized that every beat, almost no matter what genre, had these 7 elements. And if you go by these 7 elements, you're definitely going to be making bangers all the time, because you don't have to think. Now you got a formula to go by. Once you got that formula to go by, you're official. You can make bangers all the time. You don't have to worry about beat block. It kills beat block. It completely annihilates and obliterates beat block, believe me, because I use it all the time to complete my beats. That's one thing I had a problem with, was completing my beats. I used to have a whole lot of files just with incomplete beats, right? Just loops, 8-bar loops. And that formula, the formula that I came with, the 7 elements of beat making, that actually helped me complete more beats, especially when it's high demand, creating tracks for television. Man, you gotta have a formula for that, because you're not turning in just 1, 2 tracks. You're turning in 5, 10, 20 tracks at a time, right? If you're serious about it, you're trying to make that paper, man. So that's what you got to do, is have the formula. So the formula is 7 elements. The first one is the drums. You got to have drums in the beat, right? You got to have banging drums. You got to make sure your drums are crisp, clean, cutting through the mix. They're representing, they're walking and talking, right? The drums are the heartbeat of music production, period. Hip-hop music production especially relies on the drums. You feel me? That gets the Neptunes will tell you. Pharrell and Chad, they'll tell you that, you know, that the kick and the snare get the neck and the head moving and the back moving and the whole body moving. So anyway, that's one of the primary elements, is the drums. Then you have percussion. Percussion is what gives movement to the music. It ties the drums in with the melodies, right? It's the in-between, and it gives you, like I said, that rhythm. Percussion is very important, a very important element to the beat. It adds movement, and it gives the music more character as well. You have next the lead melody. So the lead melody is very important. This is what is the catchy part of the track. It becomes the theme of the track. It's the one thing that repeats, that you want to get caught in the artist and the listener's head, right? It's the thing that describes the emotion of the music first and foremost. The mentality, the feeling, the emotions, the thoughts. It's going to help invoke that from out of the artist. That's how important that lead melody is. They can come up with a hook. If you got that lead melody right, it can make the artist pull a hook out of thin air. You feel me? So that's how you gotta look at your lead melody, is that, yo, I gotta make this catchy. I gotta keep it simple, not do too much with it. And I gotta make sure that it's saying something, right? It's representing something. Okay, so you got the lead melody. So drums, percussion, lead, melody. Then you got the bass line. The bass line is the soul of the beat. The bass line is the soul of the track. It gives the track the groove. It gives it the soul. It gives it the bounce. It gives it the boogie. So you got to make sure your bass line is thumping, whether it's an 808 or you're using a synth bass or an electric bass sound or a real, bass. As long as you got your bass in the right place, then that's what it's really about. That's important. The bass line is so important that some of your favorite songs that you can think of is probably the bass line that first comes to your mind. You feel me? So anyway, that's what gets people really feeling, the bass, the vibration. That's the soul of the track. So those are the first 4 elements. And then after that, you got chorus instruments. This is important because if you really want an artist to come up with a catchy hook as well, you got to have the right supporting instruments. And so that's what the chorus instruments are. They're supporting the main theme. They're supporting everything that you laid down thus far, right? And this is where things get interesting. This is where the story comes alive. This is where you have to have dramatics and themics, right? You want it to sound like an anthem, and that's where you focus on the chorus at. So for example, if I'm making a beat and it got, the drums are already right there, the bass line, and let's say I got keys for a dope lead melody, right? Something simple. Then I could fill up the hook with something dramatic like strings, or like a synth, a West Coast whistle lead sound, something that sings and brings rise to the song. That's what the hook does, right? It bridges everything. It brings everything together in the song. So whatever the artist is talking about and whatever the beat is saying, right when the hook comes in, with those words mixed with that music, that is what the listener is going to live with. That's where you touch the listener's heart. So the music has to be in the right place when it comes to them chorus instruments, right? So you got to have those in there. Sometimes we don't finish beats because we don't know what to put in next. Well, maybe it's because you got to think like this. You haven't thought about what area you need to focus on, right? You might still be thinking you need to fill up the lead melody when it's already in the place. Then you're starting to overproduce because you're not thinking of the artist. These 7 elements help you put the artist back in the equation. If you're a producer producing by yourself and you're not producing an artist, then 9 times out of 10 you're overproducing because you're only producing music from your perspective, not the listeners or the artist, excuse me. So you have to learn how to produce from the artist's perspective. So anyway, with that being said, you have the chorus instruments. Then you got the background instruments, right? The background sounds. So this is where you could put cool effects in there. Something that gives the music a little more taste and a little more flavor. I remember in listening to a Dr. Dre song, Dr. Dre and DJ Quick, Put It On Me, right? That record. There's an effect sound in there. And that mug was so memorable and powerful to my ear. I'm not sure if it's because I'm a music producer and I'm extra listening, but I'm pretty sure listeners, it affected them in some kind of way as well, right? It gave it like this motion picture cinematic kind of effect. And I'll never forget, I got on the Korg MS-2000, and that's the synthesizer. I've seen every major producer. I've walked in their studio, they got one of these. So Battle Cat has one. My guy Romy has one. So I remember using one. This was back in 2006, and I heard that same sound on there. Man, I was like, yo, Dre was using this, man. But that was a life-changing event for me because I noticed how important effects are in the song and what they could do to the listener. And you as a music producer, they can help you describe something that you need, that you may be missing, that could translate over to the artist or the listener and help them have a better experience with the music. And you're getting a clear picture across of what you're trying to express, with your feelings and thoughts that you put in the music. So anyway, not to go too deep. All right, so that's so we got drums, percussion, lead, melody, bass. We got the chorus instruments. We got the background sounds, and the last one, which is one of the most important ones. You can't miss this. You got to keep this in mind. Keep this in heart. It is the arrangement, right? You have to make sure that the track is arranged right for the artist. You got to make sure that the verse pieces, they give the artist a pocket to express who they are. You're not overproducing. They don't have too many instruments in them. They have just enough to give the artist their piece of the pie, because you have to think about where this is going. And even if it's not going to artists, I know I've been talking about that, but if it's going to television, film too, they want to have music that's very dynamic. They want to have drops and breaks, and then they want to have rises and a lot going on. So you have to make sure that the formula that you're using when you're using the 7 elements, it applies to where you're marketing that particular track. Sometimes I take tracks and I arrange them very different according to where they're going. So for television, film, they're arranged very differently than my tracks for artists, because television, film requires a whole different formula and setup as far as the arrangement goes. You should look at my course C section where I talk about that television music arrangement, because it's very different from arranging for an artist who's going to put music to it, write lyrics to it to create a song that may go to a radio, or go to on an album, which is completely different format. So arrangement is that important, right? You got to know what you're arranging for, what arrangement for what occasion. So make sure that your arrangement's in place. So just to recap, to give you the 7 elements of beat making that you can apply right now. And if you're in beat block, I guarantee if you use this strategy, use these elements, they're going to take you out of beat block and you're going to be making bangers right now. So look, check it out. You got the drums, right? Then that's the heartbeat of the music. You got the percussion. You have the lead melody. You have the bass line. You have the chorus instruments, right? You have the background sounds, and you have the arrangement. All right, so I just gave that to you for free. If you want the full course, just go to my site. I put links down in there under the video. Wherever you're watching this, you should see it, and it should bring you back to my site. So anyway, that's it, the 7 elements of beat making. I hope this helps you take your sound, mind, and brand to the next level. Like I said, help me reach a million producers with this information, and I'll thank you forever, and I'm sure they will too. If this information helped you, imagine who else it will help. So if you could just share this, like, comment, and subscribe to my channel, especially if you're watching this on YouTube, because I want to keep giving you my gifts of wisdom, everything that I've learned in my 20 years in the music business. I felt that since this was my anniversary year, 2019, that it's time that I give everything that I know to the world. So help me do that. Thank you. Yo, also, before I go, if you're a music producer and you make beats, make sure you go to my site, brahmabeats.com, and download the free version of my Dramatic VST. Okay, it's the first VST I ever made. It's dope. It got some banging drums in it. I use it almost all the time. But go ahead and download the free version of Dramatic VST right now and bang out. Let me know how you feel about it too. Alright? Peace, love, and beats.